Okay, well, we're going to rebuild the front spoiler that I chopped back up to put in the hood, the Franken hood, since that's where my front spoiler original came from. Anyways, just in case somebody is silly enough to build a spoiler like me, I guess I'll give you the way I'm going to build it, so in case you want to build one. I basically just went to my hardware store and found some 8x24 sheets, and I bought 3 of them, and then get them all kind of butted together and on a good flat surface, and then you can start tracing them out. So this little back section here is 4 inches, and then the center here, I just want the full 8 inches. So 8 inches. And then I measured out 12 inches. Obviously for the 24, the center of that. Made my marks there. And then width of it is 58 inches. The overall is 58. So from this center mark to well, it would basically be this center mark here is 29 on both sides, and then you just kind of whatever curve you want to make there. I made that curve and then I trimmed it out and copied it on this side so they're at least kind of uniform. Anyways, and then from your 4 inches, I guess it'll be better on this side. So my 4 inches was from here to here. Well, then I just took a straight edge and went from the center mark all the way to that, and then drew my little curves, and then slowly I'll get this cut out. Now if you're got more tools than I got, then you'll probably have a brake or something, a metal brake. It would be better to give yourself a 1/2 inch, 3/4, and actually bend that over and hem it or whatever you want to call it, for giving it a better structural strength. But I built some weird little aluminum things I'll stick on the front of mine to kind of give it its strength up front. And then I'm also going to put some little cables to keep it from folding over. I had that problem in Bonneville. But anyways, I'm going to kind of get this cut out, and then I'm going to tack weld all these together and get it up on the car and figure out where I got to start making mountings. Alright, after you kind of tack them together, depending on how you want your front spoiler, the bumper's not straight across like this, so you're probably going to have to cut it right down the center, and then you'll have to do some fancy work here at the end. But I cut it to about the last 1/4 inch, so it's still attached, and then I already put mine up on the car, so it's going to be kind of like a boomerang shaped. And I went 1.25 inches on how much I tilted it in that way. And I'm just going to tack weld this couple spots so I can get my mounting holes figured out. And then once I get those figured out, kind of get this molded, then I'll probably just take my cutoff wheel or something and make another straight line and just cut right down the center, so I don't have a funny seam in the middle of the spoiler. Okay, at some point, I guess your front spoiler will look something kind of like this. So on these AMX and Javelin bumpers, they've got these tabs I'm not really sure what they're for, and I don't know if they're supposed to be bent up like that, but got them on both sides, and they're both bent up. And that's what I originally attached to. And then on the front of my bumper, it's always had these holes right here, kind of under the license plate. I was just cleaning them up a little bit, but I don't know what those were originally for. That one there has two, but I'm sure it was something somebody else had there at one time, along with their chain pulling tactics. But anyways, so these are made out of folded over metal, because this isn't real thick stuff, and I'm going to go back and reinforce it after I get it all the way I want it. These are just 1.5 by 1.5 inches. So I just measured 3 squares, 1.5 by 1.5 inches, cut them out, and folded 2 over and bent one backwards for the mounting on those. And then these are the same thing, except for this is just I think like 2.5 inches by 1.5 inches, and they're just flat on both sides. So that's kind of how I've got it to mount up right now. So I'm going to get it mounted up, and we'll check it out. Well, there you go. Once you get it mounted up the way you want it, you got yourself a chin spoiler, front spoiler. I don't have it tight, so that's why it looks like it's kind of flopping. Next thing I got to do is just kind of grind everything down, finish welding everything where it's at, and paint it. I'll probably just paint it white like I had it originally. And then if you want it more out or longer, you'll have to remember, since you got if you cut it out of a straight piece of metal, you'll have to cut the center and angle it, so you're going to want to make your overall length longer. So at the end of the day, this is 57 inches. We lost an inch because I started at 58 inches. But I cut the center to angle it, and we shrunk that inch. So you got to keep that in mind. In my original one, the dimensions were 10 inches by 57 by 4, and this is really close to what the original front spoiler was. Of course, I'm going to add my little aluminum strips I made for the front, and then I'm going to add some little cables to kind of keep the wind from pushing it down. But overall, it looks pretty good. So I'll probably paint this and put it at the end of the video, so stay tuned. Well, since it's currently raining, I guess we'll continue on with building the front spoiler. I wasn't going to film too much more, so I thought I might go try to tune the car, but the rain has foiled my plans. Anyways, since I just spent 2 weeks messing with the Franken hood, I'm not real interested in doing any more Bondo fiberglass or anything for a while, so I got really lazy and just cut myself aluminum strips and hid the seams so I don't have to do too much. These were originally on the original front spoiler, these 2 strips here, but that'll give you a little bit more strength anyways, so I'm not going to put any on the ends. I think they'll be fine. They're pretty short, so they're not going to have too much bendy problems. But I'm going to get all this taken off and scuff her down, do a little bit more grinding and smoothing on it, and give her a coat of white paint and get her strapped together and get her on the car. Okay, well, I'm going to call it done. So this front spoiler is a lot more stout and sturdy than the original one, and those little black cables there, those came with a really cheap hood pin kit I got off of eBay, and they just wouldn't work for anything, but they'll work okay for this. I've got them on both sides there, but anyways, hopefully this encourages other people to build their own front spoilers or their own parts for their car, especially these AMCs, because they're either overpriced or they're non-existent, or what you'll get is just more for show. This one is pretty much built exactly like my original one, which we did do some test with it. It does functionally actually work on this car as keeping the air pushing downward on the front of the car, so air isn't rushing under the car as much. So it does have a functionality. On our 3 runs we did in Bonneville, we did 1 run without it on there, and definitely was a big difference. The car was a lot more floaty in the front end without it on there. So anyways, hope you like this video. I haven't showed much on the Frankenhood because I still got to do just a little bit of work on it, and that'll be the next video, so be looking for that. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, and follow me on Instagram, and if you want to see these projects being done before the video comes out. See you in the next episode.